Good afternoon. There we go. Yes? Working? It's thinking deep thoughts. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Emma Cox. I am the music department manager here at Fourth Presbyterian Church. Welcome, welcome to our Friday Noonday Concert today. This is practically tropical weather, and I'm delighted that we have this many people in person as well as online and at home. Just so you know, we're going to do a few minutes of housekeeping really quickly. If you go ahead and turn around on the back of your program, you can see some of the upcoming events that will be taking place here. I'm very excited about next week's Noonday artist. It's going to be Christina Ballatori. She is a flutist, and she's featuring Mr. Kevin Chance on the piano as well. That will be at 12:10 for free here in the sanctuary and online as well. On the 24th, which is a Friday, next Friday, we are going to be having an organ concert at 7 o'clock here in the sanctuary to introduce our new director of music, our interim director of music, Dr. Douglas Cleveland, to everybody. It is a Friends of Music event. This is an organization here at Fourth Presbyterian Church that works directly with the music department to support not only local artists, but some of the outreach that we like to do here. So if you're interested in learning more about this, I have flyers at both of our doors, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. But that's next Friday at 7 o'clock. We also, on the 31st, which is 2 weeks from now on a Friday, we will be having the St. Olaf Choir that will be attending and performing for us here in the sanctuary at 7 o'clock. This is a ticketed event. If you would like more information or like to buy a ticket, please go ahead and grab one of these flyers. I have them at both the doors, and you can visit the St. Olaf website and grab your ticket in advance. But this is an internationally renowned choir. They have a very large following here in the Chicagoland area, so I highly suggest you grab those tickets ahead of time. Do me a favor, take your cell phones, put them on silent for me. You're more than welcome to take videos. We invite you to take pictures, to tag the artist on social media, but just please be sure that you do it from a seated position so we're not interfering with one another's sight lines. Put your hands together and welcome to the stage Mr. Chandler Dillingham.
I think the microphone is broken, so I'll just be speaking to you all with that one. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, great. Hello, my name is Chandler Dillingham. I am originally from New York City, but I'm now currently based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I did my undergraduate degree at Northwestern University, so I'm happy to be back in the area. The program today is going to present a wide range of time periods and different moods and atmospheres. My goal for this program is to really present why I believe the classical guitar can be such a special instrument. Its ability to borrow from its predecessors, such as the lute, and earlier types of guitars, such as the 19th century romantic guitar, makes it a very special instrument as we can kind of pick and choose and see how the modern guitar can tackle some of the most beautiful repertoire over the past 500 years. I will be starting today's program with Sonata number 34 in D minor by Sylvius Leopold Weiss. Weiss was a Baroque composer based in Germany, and he was a lutenist and was a very prolific composer, writing many works for lute. On some occasions, he was a colleague of Johann Sebastian Bach and would even participate in improvisation battles, which is very special to see. As if you have a lute going up against a giant organ, that lutenist must be pretty good at what he does. So this is one example of a piece that the classical guitar can borrow from its predecessor and tackle it in a new way. So I hope you enjoy this suite. It starts with the prelude, which is meant to be a short musical moment to kind of capture everybody's attention, and then it follows with a set of dances, which were typically performed within the courts, and in this case, within the church. So I hope you enjoy it, and thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can everyone hear me? Okay. I think this will be a lot easier. Thank you very much for your kind applause. The next piece I'll be performing for you is a much shorter one. It is The Rose by Mauro Giuliani. And we've moved from the 1700s now into the early 1800s. We're embarking upon the Romantic era, a time where composers look to express more emotion and feel more intensity within their music and interacting with different compositional devices to make that possible. This piece, The Rose, is a set from a larger suite written by a guitarist, a cellist, and a music educator named Mauro Giuliani. And another interesting fun fact is, apart from his career as a classical guitarist, he was involved in the debut of Beethoven's Seventh Symphony. So once again, we have another person who is adjacent to one of the biggest figures within the canon, in this case with Giuliani and Beethoven. So I hope you enjoy The Rose by Mauro Giuliani. Alrighty. So now we're going to do a huge time jump. We're going to the 20th century, and this program is a little out of chronological order, but I felt this piece was best to be within the middle of the program. This piece is titled Los Preludios Epigrammaticos, which translates to the epigrammatic preludes. This is written by Leo Brouwer, who is a Cuban composer and has contributed a lot to the classical guitar, but the music world at large. Leo Brouwer took 6 quotes from the poetry of Miguel Hernandez, who was a Spanish poet and playwright during the early 20th century. Miguel Hernandez was involved with the revolution in Spain, and when the Franco regime won, he was one of the individuals who were immediately imprisoned, and he would actually spend the rest of his life in prison and pass away in prison. And this set of these poems were mainly written to his wife, and in some cases were written on, for example, toilet paper that was made available to the prisoners. And these poems are very introspective, addressing some very philosophical questions that we all have to deal with. And Leo Brouwer took some of these quotes and dedicated a set of preludes to him and to this work. So I think this is a very hauntingly beautiful piece, and Leo Brouwer does a wonderful job of always having a melody punch through, even in ambiguous or unfamiliar textures. So I hope you enjoy the epigrammatic preludes by Leo Brouwer. Thank you. Alrighty, now we're gonna move on to some lighter themes. The next piece I'll be performing for you is the Hommage to Toulouse-Lautrec by Eduardo Sáenz de la Maza. Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec was a French post-impressionist painter, painting from the later part of the 1800s and early part of the 1900s, who sought to capture the beauty of French nightlife. And in a time where France was thriving, people wanted to go out and celebrate, and Toulouse-Lautrec was trying to paint essentially the beauty of that period in France's history. So Eduardo Sáenz de la Maza was a Spanish composer who wanted to look towards France and kind of emulate this through a piece for the guitar. So as you listen to this, there are moments where I feel you can hear the brushstrokes of Toulouse-Lautrec or the different types of attacks on the canvas. And it's really beautiful to see that in a piece of music. So this is the Hommage to Toulouse-Lautrec by Eduardo Sáenz de la Maza. So before I play the final piece, I would like to thank you all for joining me today. It's a pleasure to share music, especially in a space like this one, so I'm very, very grateful that we could have this experience together. The final piece I'll be performing for you is kind of a culminating piece from the entire program. This is titled Variations Through the Centuries. Mario Castronovo Tedesco was an Italian composer who ended up building his entire career within Hollywood, and he would have some very famous disciples, including the film composer John Williams. So apart from all of this work in film scoring, he was one of the most important composers to collaborate with Andres Segovia, who was a well-known Spanish guitarist from the early 20th century. And this is the first piece he ever wrote for the classical guitar. And his goal was to take separate movements and dedicate them towards different parts of time. And when this was composed, the most prominent dance form was the foxtrot. So we can think of this as ending around the 1930s. So we start with, we have a chaconne and a preludio, which have a similar sound to the first piece by Weiss that you heard today. Then we have two waltzes, which are more romantic in feeling, aligning more with the work by Giuliani. And then we compose with the foxtrot, which is the end of the centuries when he finished the piece. So once again, I'd like to thank you all for joining. It's been a pleasure to share some music with you, and I hope you enjoy Variations Through the Centuries, and I hope you also stay warm out there. I think it's warmer today. Thank you.